Oh.
Introducing Body Armor Edge, sports hydration with the boost of caffeine.
Here comes John Morant, dribbles up into some full court pressure. He's quick, Josh is blowing by the defense, going coast to coast. One man to beat, and it's the big man. John leaps up. Oh, and hammers
With 100 milligrams of caffeine and 1,000 milligrams of electrolytes, there's no better way for John Morant to get his edge. It's more than a sports drink. It's Body Armor Edge.
You're listening to EPPN's Today with DW Sports Edition with DW, Mr. Tom Greer, and Snacks.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Today with DW Sports Edition. With no Herb.
Without the DW.
Without the DW. Yeah, I know. It's just me and Hank today. And we're going to see how this goes because, spoiler alert, I've never in my life used StreamYard. I mean, I've used StreamYard, but I've used it just to be on shows. Never actually ran StreamYard. So this is going to be... I have a feeling, though, that Herb is in here somewhere, and he played the intro because I definitely did not click the right thing to play the intro.
He's doing something back there. He's not... He's like in limbo.
Yeah, exactly. He's backstage, I guess we could say. So Herb, if you're listening, if you're here, if you are in fact backstage, please let me know when to cut the commercial. How about that? Yes, no, it's me, Mr. Greer, and it's also Hank, Snacks Pelton. Hank, how's your week going, or how's your previous weekend?
I haven't been able to be on in a while with softball going.
I know, how's softball been going?
We're good. We're playing the regionals on Saturday. We're playing against
awesome.
Number one team in the country.
That's freaking awesome. Now, how's your team looking?
If we play like we've been playing, we could win a couple games. We could possibly upset them. I mean, it's anybody's ball game. It doesn't matter. I mean, everybody's sitting there going that they were the number one team in the country and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay. We played them already, and it was like at the fourth inning, it was 0-0, and then they put some hurting on us.
That's all. Well, that's good. I mean, if you look at this point, anybody's gonna. Has it been weird with like dealing with COVID like throughout the entire thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been lightening up a little bit. Like you got having to wear masks in the dugout and things like that. A lot of the girls, because we're always around each other, and
yeah,
like we have to go retrieve our own softballs. If we do a foul ball, then we got to go retrieve them because they don't want anybody touching the ball. Then all of a sudden they come out with the touching thing, saying that's not really how it spread. So now it's the breathing and all that stuff in the air. And so as it's changed and progressed, it's gotten better.
Yeah. But it's good. At least, I mean, I guess it's a little more manageable, especially since it's an outside sport. You're not worrying about, crazy, close contact inside. Like you're at least outside like softball and baseball is like, they're like the perfect stereotypical social distancing sports, Yeah.
And, a lot of it too is, we've all had a lot of the girls have gotten their shots. The coaches have gotten their shots. Yeah. We get tested every week. We do everything that we're supposed to follow the protocol to the max. The girls are, conscientious of not going out and wherever they're going. Like if there's parties or things like that, they're not going to them, and they're really staying focused on the athleticism part of it.
No, I guess that's really good. And now, especially since you get a chance to play like, the top team in the country, that's probably like a little bit more innovation. Like, all right, let's go get these guys, let's go knock them down a few pegs.
I feel pretty confident. I mean, the head coach feels pretty confident about stuff like that. We could go up there, we could upset them, and it's the best 2 out of 3. So
that's awesome. What's going on, Brian Little? Welcome to the stream. He also says, salute to the Earplug Podcast Network. The Earplug Podcast Network is pretty great, I do have to say. It's been a lot of fun. So I'd be remiss if I didn't start the show when I was putting these together about asking because I asked you how your week was going because I know you've been swamped with with softball. Know that. But there is a little bit of football news because Aron Rogers wants out. I think we talked about this for what, like, I think the last time we were on, we were talking about this. We were talking about him not being happy in Green Bay. We've been talking about it basically since the season ended, that Aron Rogers has been saying his future in Green Bay is uncertain. Now he wants out. How are you feeling about it?
I'm fine with it.
Really? Okay.
I'm a Brett Favre guy. So,
okay.
When Aaron Rodgers was there, he learned under the tutelage of Favre for a while.
Yeah.
And then he wanted the starting job.
Yeah.
So it's like I consider it like the Nancy Kerrigan thing. So it's like take a shot at your knee and take you out, but
you see, but the problem is like you're not worried about like what the team will look like post Rodgers, because like look, the Green Bay Packers, if they're not the luckiest franchise in the entire NFL, I don't know who is, because they went from Brett Favre, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever step on the field, to Aaron Rodgers, who's when you're talking about greatest of all time, he's right behind Tom Brady. You know, like he's literally one of, if not the best guy talent-wise, quarterback to step on a football field.
The thing is, you got to look at the work ethic part of it. And the thing is that Brett Favre wasn't looking to leave anywhere when they went and got Aaron Rodgers.
But Brett Favre wasn't happy when Aaron Rodgers was sitting on the bench breathing down his neck. I mean, that was one of the things that led him to saying, hey, I want to retire and I want to go play. I want to play for the Minnesota Vikings, but you're not going to let me go to the Vikings, so I'll just go to the Jets. You know, like this is all the same thing.
It was a few years after, though. It was after he had already been under Favre. You know what I mean? He had been there, and then it was like, listen, you drafted me to play here, and I haven't started until Brett Favre, and Brett Favre was just, so then that's when they kind of drove him out.
But don't you think that for Brett Favre, in Brett Favre's case, the Green Bay Packers did enough to make Brett happy? Like they did enough to put, like, because like for example, Aaron Rodgers has been the starting quarterback for as long as he's been the starting quarterback, and for the last like 7 or 8 years, they haven't done anything to surround him with better talent. Like, yes, they went and got Devontae Adams in like the 2nd or 3rd round. I don't remember when he got drafted, but all of their drafts, first round is always someone on defense, or it's like a running back, or now it's now a backup quarterback or your future quarterback. Like, I think if they would have just maybe given Rodgers a little bit more to work with, instead of saying, okay, you have Devontae Adams, now we're going to give you freaking Valdez Scantling and some other wide receivers that I've never heard of before. Like,
nobody really ever said what he wanted. No, he never came out and said what he wanted.
But I mean, like, but after looking,
right, but it all came to light when Russell Wilson signed a contract extension and got more money, and then who was it there? Oh no, it was Mahomes. Yeah, and all of a sudden he wants Mahomes money, and he had already signed his contract before that. So listen, it's that team excelled, and that quarterback wanted this money, and that's what they decided to do. Now he's already under contract. Now he wants more.
I think it's not even just necessarily wants more. It's just that, you know, like he's been a part of the Packers for as long as he has, and over the past few years they haven't done, because I know he hasn't maybe been as vocal about what the team needs, but it doesn't take much for you to watch on Sunday that, okay, maybe Aaron Rodgers would have been a little bit better, especially at the tail end of his career, if he got him somebody else to complement Devontae Adams, like get him somebody else to work with on offense, because they haven't had that. Like it's literally Devontae Adams, who they found in later on in the draft, and then the rest is just a bunch of no-name, like pick a bunch of random names out of a hat, throw it at the board, and then whatever names stick together as a wide receiver on the Packers. Like you have no idea.
The thing is you got to sit there and look at yourself. Where do you stop catering to him? He didn't like Mike. Listen, I agree with him. I didn't like Mike McCarthy. I didn't think that was the thing, and he wanted him out, and they got rid of Mike McCarthy finally, because he just kept trying to run his own stuff. So they got rid of them. Then he turned around and the thing is that there was no mention of the Packers never going out and getting him anything until Mahomes got this contract. Then it became about money, and then listen, but that's what I'm saying. I follow it. And then all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers has turned around. Now it's become, well, he's not getting, and it's not just Rodgers that's saying it. It's everybody else. It's Rappaport, all these guys that are going out there, and they're saying, well, they're not doing this for Rodgers. They're not doing this for Rodgers. Well, okay, fine. But then you got guys like AJ Hawk, who's got a podcast, and he does his thing, and he's sitting there going, hey, listen, he's saying he ain't going anywhere. So it's like, who do you believe? When it happens, it happens. And you know what? And if it does, so be it. The Packers have rebuilt before. I mean, they were.
Yep. But I just don't. But the thing is, the problem that I feel like is like, look, I understand. Like, if we're talking about a quarterback that's like, Matt Stafford, or if it's like, Jimmy Garoppolo, if it's a quarterback that's not Aaron Rodgers, okay, I kind of understand what you're saying. But when it's Aaron Rodgers and he's one of the best, like, most talented quarterbacks to ever step foot on a football field, I feel like you have to cater everything to him, because like in reality, he gives you the best chance to win. Like every Sunday, that dude comes out, balls out with whatever he's got. So I feel like you got to give him anything that he asks for. You just back up the truck and say, Aaron, I got you. You're like, it's Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers right here. Like they're literally hitting up against each other. If Rodgers had a couple of more rings, we'd probably be saying he might be the GOAT. He's the guy better than Brady, but he doesn't got the titles.
They're in salary cap problems.
Yeah.
What they have. And I think it's like 13 or 15 players restructured their contracts for less money, including his blindside tackle.
Yeah.
It took less money so that if they wanted to offer him more money or go out and get the weapons that he wanted, then they would. It's like Bledsoe went in to freaking Tampa and they had a shitload of money to be able to spend and do stuff because they sucked all those years.
Oh yeah, but it's not always about. But that's what I mean is like it's not always about just the money. Like the way you save the money is by going out and doing like drafting well, like drafting these players, not just spending all of your. Because I know the Packers have needed defensive help too. That goes without saying. But I think you could also do that by finding guys in the draft and getting the Rodgers the help that he needs. I think that's ultimately what the problem is Rodgers is sitting here like, dude, I'm getting older. I'm like 30. What is he? 34. 30, is he 34? Yeah.
No,
37?
37, 38.
He's 37, 38. Yeah, that's what it was. He's 37, 38. Guys, I can't do it by you drafting Jordan Love in the first round and then Aaron Jones in the second, or not Aaron Jones. Who's the other running back that they drafted? AJ Dillon or something like that?
He's tough.
He is tough, but I mean, like he needs.
Well, who are they supposed to get? I've seen guys that go number one and they wind up sucking out.
But you at least got to try. Like you at least got to try to draft somebody, and they don't. That's the problem is they don't do that.
You got to look at the talent that fits to your offense, the talent that fits to your defense. And what?
So you mean to tell me that there's nobody that they could have gotten better than Valdez Scantling, or that's the only name that I could have come to my mind because of Packer wide receivers. I can't name you one other than Devontae Adams and him.
Listen,
Davis
wasn't a number one draft pick, and
that's true.
It's where you develop. You have to develop with your teammates. You have to develop with your team.
But isn't that an indictment on the Packers that the only wide receiver, only person they've been able to then develop is Devontae Adams?
Yeah, but they've developed more. You mean you got to remember Jordy Nelson. They've developed freaking Randall.
Yeah, he's been gone. But he's been gone. Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson been gone forever.
They got built up around Aaron Rodgers. It's just like Brett Favre with Sterling Sharp and all those guys.
Yeah.
You go to, New York, you got Eli Manning and you got all the receivers that he had. Develop around the quarterback. So if he doesn't want to take that chance on a guy that, and I guarantee you, he wasn't sitting in a room somewhere in a corner and wasn't part of looking at or scouting those guys through game film. I bet you he was sitting right in the room with them. Because I know for a fact that the quarterback's sitting there when they're looking at receivers.
Yeah.
What do you think? So he had something to do with picking those players.
Yeah.
With the coaching staff that he had.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily think that he was a part of picking like cornerbacks in the first round. I do want to get in. Terry Bradshaw was on a New York radio station. He was on a WFAN earlier this week. He said, him being upset, that shows me how weak he is. Who the hell cares who you draft? He's a 3-time MVP in the league, and he's worried about this guy drafted last year at number 1. So look, but you see, I guess I kind of get that where, it's kind of ridiculous that he's afraid of who's getting drafted because he is an MVP. He's an MVP. He's one of the best players to ever play in the league. But I do think it sucks when you have a guy still under contract and you spend your time drafting his replacement when you could be drafting to help him win. Because you're so close. The Packers are always so close. They win like 13 games a year.
So here, I'll give you a for instance. So Mel Kiper, I was watching the NFL draft this weekend, and I'm sitting there laughing because I'm watching Kiper, who's saying that they got a little show on about Tom Brady, showing back from when he was in Michigan and how he did this and how he said he was going to be this, this, and this. Bullshit. He didn't say that back then. They didn't care one iota about Tom Brady getting selected where he got selected to go to the freaking Patriots. Drew Bledsoe was there.
Mm-hmm.
And Bledsoe helped develop Brady a little bit because he stuck around even after he got hurt. And then you got Bill Belichick, who basically did what he did with him and worked around with him with the right people and personnel around him and things like that. And he developed the receivers as well as himself.
Yeah.
Now you got Aaron Rodgers, who's got receivers that come in. Listen, you should be able to make chicken soup out of chicken shit.
That's true, but I do think
then he needs to make chicken soup from chicken shit, because if everybody says that those receivers are as bad as they are, they're not that bad.
They're not that bad, but you can't tell. But you also can't tell me that they've gone out of their way to make sure that Rodgers has as much help as possible as he possibly could on the offensive side of the ball. You just can't.
They were the number 2 team this year behind the freaking Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't have as many fans at any time than they did this year, because everybody's a Bucs fan now because Tom Brady's there. I
agree, but it's over a span of time. Like the Packers are always just they haven't made it to the Super Bowl in what, like 10 years?
No, it's not 10 years.
It's getting close though.
No, it's 2022, so it was like
the last Packers Super Bowl was 2011.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. Like I understand that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the Packers are always right there. They're one of the best. They win like 12, 13 games a year. They're always like the second best team. But that's what I mean is they're always the second best team, and they're always that one extra piece from getting over the hump. I mean, like, and you had a couple of years ago. I will give you that they do help him a little bit, because a few years ago he was getting his brains beat in. And they did help him, protect him a little bit on the offensive line. I will give you that. But I don't know. I'm just thinking of it from a Packer fan. It's like, look, you got lucky twice. You got Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. To think Jordan Love's going to step in and just be the best quarterback in the game right now, I feel like it's a little bit of a reach. That's why I'm saying you do whatever you can to make Rodgers happy and keep him there. Like, don't just let him leave.
If Rodgers wants out, let him go. Just get rid of him. Start over from scratch.
Well, I do, but no, but you see, I would be, if I'm the Packers, I'm being petty with it. If I'm the Packers, I'm being petty with it. I'm letting him go kicking and screaming. Like, I'm not going to release him. I'm not going to trade him. Let him retire. If he wants to retire and go host Jeopardy, go host Jeopardy. But I wouldn't just let him go.
But don't come out and say, if you don't like the GM, there's just so many different things that it's not any one thing. It's never been any one thing that everybody's talking about. It's money. It's that they didn't go out and get anything he wants. Doesn't like the GM. Wants the GM. If the GM's there, he's not coming back. If this guy's there, he's not coming back. He did the same thing with McCarthy when McCarthy was there, because he didn't want linemen around. Certain guys that he didn't really feel comfortable with, and they got rid of them. But that was your mainstay. Linemen get seasoned. It's a cruel world in professional sports, especially in football, because I've talked to some guys that I know that are in the NFL. And I've got a couple kids that I knew that went like Queensbury and stuff like that. They say to you, you're sitting at practice one day, and then all of a sudden, here you are, 6'8", 330-pound tackle, and all of a sudden these 2 kids walk in from 2 colleges, and they're bringing them in to talk to them or whatever, and they're 6'8", 6'7", 320, whatever, and they're like, what position they play? Oh, left tackle, and you're sitting there going, oh, really? I play left tackle. It's cutthroat. It's just, here, I got to cut you. You're gone. Yeah. And you're talking about an MVP quarterback, but he has never really come out and said anything. He's never really come out and said it. There's Herb. He's never really come out and said anything that was one thing definitively that is why he doesn't want to go back. Now it's like, okay, you want to go do Jeopardy? Then go do Jeopardy. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, look, I get that, but you see, that's the way I would handle it. I would not just because there's no way you're going to be able to get the value for Aaron Rodgers. Like, like what, I think the Seahawks want a couple of picks, want like 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. The Texans want like 3 or 4 first-round picks and players for Deshaun Watson. Well, I don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to get that anymore because of all the allegations, but so you would need a king's ransom to take Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers. So no, you're right. Let him retire. If he really wants to retire. Let him walk, go host Jeopardy, do whatever you got to do. And,
listen, I'll take Bosa and a couple draft picks for a couple number 1 draft picks for the 49ers if he wants to go there.
Well, I mean, well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I don't think they'd give up Bosa for Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, like, they did try. I know they tried. There was like a first-round pick this year. I think it might have been a first-round pick next year and a bunch of other picks. And they didn't say the players. I know some players were involved. But the Niners did try to get him, and it would have been kind of interesting to see him on the Niners this year. I just don't know. Like, my problem with it is like,
dude, I'll take Garoppolo. I'll put Garoppolo in there. Listen,
but you got but
everybody else is sitting there saying that you got nothing left if Aaron Rodgers is gone. Okay, so we got no weapons. What happens if Garoppolo goes to the Packers? The 49ers suck out because they got nothing, and we get Garoppolo, and all of a sudden he didn't do too goddamn bad when he was in New England either. He
didn't, but he has to stay healthy. That dude has been in San Francisco for a little while now, and I think he's missed a grand total of a collective of like 2 seasons of a 4-year deal. You know, that dude does not stay healthy, and you bring him up into the frigid cold air up at Lambeau Field, he may very well snap in half. It'll get all cold, and it'll just snap him. You know, I don't know. I'm just thinking of it from a perspective of what happens to Jordan Love, but I do know that we have to take a quick break. So let me figure out how to do that, and we'll be right back.
Because the DW was yelling at us.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Russo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Diana Taurasi.
I'm Ryan Blaney.
And I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right, jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's Body Armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink Body Armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.
All right, there we go. All right, there we go. So we got through one commercial break. That's how.
Yay!
There we go. Yay. Okay, so and I appreciate her being in the backstage, letting us know, letting me know, or letting us know when we got to cut the commercial.
A sock stuffed in his mouth or something like that. I'm gonna cut my mic off in a minute.
So other than Aaron Rodgers news, the Aaron Rodgers news basically came out or broke right before the NFL draft that had happened over the weekend. Did you watch all of the first round?
Yes, I did, but I as I was watching it, and every time the freaking Aaron Rodgers stuff popped up, I was just saying, you guys were like licking your lips, waiting for me to get on the show.
Oh yeah, the second I heard the news, I heard that the 49ers offered all those picks and players for Aaron Rodgers. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what Hank has to say, because we've been talking about this for months. But so the NFL draft came and went, and I think I get so excited for the draft and then quickly realize that I'm getting excited for no reason, because we have no idea what any of these players are going to pan out to. That we're just getting really excited for a bunch of college players who have never seen NFL speed yet, and can pretty much just guarantee that Alabama players are going to be pretty awesome. So book it that Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Najee Harris are going to be awesome. I don't know about Mac Jones, but we'll kind of see. But how did you feel about the Packer draft?
We need a defense. We got the quarterback, and we got the lineman. We got the center, and I think we got a guard and a tackle. So.
Yes, they did. Oh, and they did draft a wide receiver, Amir Rogers. So that does exist. So they did draft somebody.
We were on the road with softball, so I really didn't get to watch too much of the last 2 days. So I got to watch a little bit on Friday night, and then
I just pay attention to day one. Day one's really all I'm interested in, because I like to see all the big fanfare and then go nuts and stuff like that. But it's ridiculous because, half of these players that you see in the draft are probably not even going to pan out anyway. NFL Network or NFL.com was being insanely generous because I'm looking down the list of drafts and what they're grading everybody, and everybody's getting A's and B's, and I'm like, there's no way everybody could have been this good, like I was just happy that I'm praying. My whole thing out of this draft is I love Kadarius Toney for the Giants. I think that's going to be awesome, but I'm hoping that the Chicago Bears are the worst team in football next year. Like literally, I hope they win 3 games because Giants have their first round pick. I hope the Bears just start Andy Dalton, win like 3 games, so we can have your first round pick and are picking 2 or 3 in the draft and we can take whoever we want. That's kind of what the only thing I took out of this draft was I hope the Bears are terrible.
Well, like I said, I was watching it. I mean, there wasn't really a lot of trades, so to speak. Like, if you got a big class, I mean, I remember, of course, that was back when you had Marino and Elway and all those guys. It was a lot of, teams trading up to get this pick because they were afraid it was going to be gone. And it's a different era now. It's like nobody does it. I mean, you didn't see anything, with the Raiders or anybody. They made a couple trades. They went up a couple bumps, or they went up 1 pick to get somebody, but then they didn't get who everybody thought they were going to get.
Well, I think you saw a bunch of it happen before the draft, like with the Niners and stuff like that. The Niners trading up to 3 so they can go get Trey Lance, which I thought was a little bit shocking. Everybody thought that they were going to go get Mac Jones, but I would be afraid of Mac Jones because I don't remember how many years he was starting behind. I mean, I think he had to have only started 1 or 2 years behind Tua, and
well, I was driving on the way back because we had a game in God, what the hell? We had a game down in Broome County, down by Binghamton, and we were driving back, and the athletic director was riding in the van with us and with me driving, and we were talking about the draft on the way back. And I'm going to tell you, I said I think Mac Jones is going to be very dangerous with the Patriots because you got the band back together in New England. You got Matt Patricia back there, you got Josh Daniels, and you got Belichick. You got the band. I mean, those guys together, they're devious.
You see, but my problem with it is, and yes, I appreciate your kind words, Herb. And then Timothy over here saying, "Why don't I see you on your show?" Well, that's because Herb is sick today. He's taking some time off. He's working behind the scenes for us right now, letting us know when we have to cut the commercial and everything like that. My problem with Mac Jones though is he's not where quarterbacks are kind of going. Like he's a guy that's just going to stand in the pocket and wait for somebody to be open, and he'll probably wind up getting lit up a bunch because the NFL has moved to, if you're a quarterback, you got to have some kind of mobility, like you got to be able to move at least a little bit, or
the GOAT doesn't have mobility.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule. I mean, we're not going to we can't compare everybody to the greatest quarterback to ever step on a football field.
Right. But the thing that you got to look at is the coaching. So you got Belichick, who's worked hand in hand with Josh Daniels. Josh Daniels is as good as his head coach.
Yeah.
So that right there speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to groom him into what they want him to be. If they can't, then they'll get rid of it. But, you got to have somebody there for Cam.
You do. You definitely do. And you're definitely going to have somebody that you're going to transition into either when Cam struggles or when Cam's gone at the end of the year. I understand that. But, I don't know. I feel like if I'm the Pats, I should have went up and maybe tried to get Justin Fields or something like that. Like try to get somebody that might be a little bit more mobile than Mac Jones. Like he might very well be really good, but, I don't know. My problem with it all is I feel like other than 1 or 2 quarterbacks, I feel like going into every year, you wind up being like, oh, this is this is one of the best quarterback drafts that we're ever going to see. These are the best quarterbacks coming out of college, and you better get them now because next year the quarterbacks really aren't going to be that good. I feel like that's a rinse and repeat situation every year. Like they hype up the quarterbacks coming out of the draft. Other than Trevor Lawrence, I can understand that he's amazing and probably the best quarterback of the draft. Get that. Everybody else, I kept hearing last year, it's not a very rich quarterback draft. We're not going to really have anybody good. And now, leading up to it, everybody's hyping up these quarterbacks and saying, oh, I wonder who's going to trade up and go get this guy. So I think it's nuts that it's basically become, okay, who can trade up to the first 3 picks to grab whatever quarterback's available and then worry about the rest after the fact. I feel like that's kind of crazy.
I haven't seen a draft like that except for back in the 80s when it was Marino and all those guys.
But now it happens every year. Like now every year, every single year, the first like 3 or 4 picks wind up being a running back, unless you're the New York Giants and you take Saquon Barkley instead of taking a quarterback with the second overall pick. But we're not going to talk about that argument for another day. Like that's what I mean. Like it's crazy that it's gone from taking the best player available to trying to figure out who the best quarterback is available. Whether or not they'll actually be good starting quarterbacks is almost irrelevant. Like whether or not they are amazing is irrelevant. It's like you're just taking the one that you feel is the best that fits your situation, you know?
And I think it was I gave it like an A for the draft.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was fun. It was good that we didn't have to worry, like we didn't have to watch it from Roger Goodell's house again. I guess that's really cool. We actually got to have the big stage and everybody coming out.
I couldn't stop laughing about the chair though.
Oh, that was so funny. That was so. Do you think that was his actual chair from his house, or do you think they just got a chair that looked like it?
I think it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing I was kind of curious about was if the Falcons were actually going to go up and try and draft a quarterback, just because, I know Matt Ryan's making a lot of money. I think he's got 1 or 2 years left on his deal, but you got to figure with the way Atlanta's been over the years that they might want to try and go in a different direction sooner rather than later.
Well, there's going to be some free agencies coming up too. So,
yeah, that's actually my biggest fear right now, if I'm being honest with you, in the upcoming football season, is that Daniel Jones sucks, and then the Giants have to sign a quarterback in free agency, because I feel like that doesn't always work unless you're getting like a great quarterback, like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady. I feel like signing quarterbacks from other teams.
Who do they have right now for the Giants though?
The backup? I actually don't know who the backup is, because I believe Colt McCoy was the backup this past season, and he's not with the team anymore. Oh, no, it's Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon is the backup quarterback. But I'm talking about, he's terrible. I'm talking about, like, because if the Giants suck this year, you're going to obviously move on from Daniel Jones.
Right.
And the team as presently constituted, I don't know if that's a situation where you go draft a new quarterback or you go sign the most talented person that's in free agency, because you have a team that's kind of sort of at the we need to start winning stage. Like the defense is young, but not too young. And you just signed Kenny Golladay. You have all these offensive weapons. You don't want to go waste it on a quarterback that might be a maybe. You want to go get somebody that's actually, is talented and can step in and win. My biggest fear is they're going to suck, and they're going to sign Derek Carr next year, and that would be terrible.
Barkley's going to be healthy this year, and he's going to help the Giants big time with the running game.
Yeah, no, I think it will. I think he's gonna do. I think he'll do. I think he's gonna do numbers. I think the Giants' offense should be awesome. Like Saquon Barkley's back, Kenny Galladay's there. Like I said, I think Kadarius Toney's gonna be awesome, filling in the slot because Sterling Shepard can't stay healthy. Darius Slayton will be good. They'll have a lot of weapons on offense. So I think they're going to be good. It's all going to come down to if Daniel Jones is good enough.
Yeah, but it's going to be Danny Dimes. Isn't it going to be his second full year as quarterback?
Third year. Yeah, second full year. It's his third year in the league. But he basically had his first year. Eli started like 2 or 3 games, and then Daniel Jones came in, and Eli, I think, played 1 or 2 more or something like that. Daniel Jones basically almost had a full season his first year in the league. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see. I was pissed though, as happy as I am for Kadarius Toney being a Giant. I was fuming when the Eagles traded up to the Cowboys spot. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are 2 NFC East teams helping each other? Why? Because I was hoping the Giants were going to take Devontae Smith out of Alabama. Eagles come up and take him, and I'm heated. I'm ready to like throw something through the TV. It was brutal.
There was a lot of Giants fans I was at the bullpen watching. There was a lot of Giants fans that were in the same boat.
Yeah, they were pissed. Yeah, no, I would imagine. But no, this guy's gonna be good. Not really worried about it. It'll. I think it's all gonna work out. Yeah. So I'm really glad. I thought the draft was a really good time. I am a little afraid of the Cowboys having Micah Parsons because I think that's a really good pick. Obviously Patrick Surtain for the Broncos. That's gonna be pretty good. They're gonna actually have another stud corner to be putting on defense. And maybe Jared Goff will stay upright because the Lions took Penei Sewell from Oregon. Very excited if I'm a Lions fan. I'd actually be pretty depressed. No, yeah. But so guys, we're just gonna take one more commercial break because I do got another body armor commercial that I gotta sneak.
Introducing Body Armor Edge, sports hydration with the boost of caffeine.
Kyler Murray drops back, looks downfield. Here comes the blitz. Murray finds an opening. And sideline dives, and he misses. He's got daylight. Murray sprinting, picking up speed.
With 100 milligrams of
How you feel your Dolphins did, because I know that they did draft Jalen Waddle. I was a little bummed about, and Tua does need a little bit more help because just during the vaccine, so they're not just taking Timmy from the midnight last night. I was driving home to the Cardinals 6-5, in which was a little bit shady, if I do say so myself. Pete Alonso's up in the 9th inning, and Chili Davis, and I don't remember. I can't say I'm surprised that this happened. He's got to be batting like a hair over 200. That's got to be what it is right now. If he's there.
I have to watch the Mets games, and I just sit there with my headphones. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? What's that? Why'd they do that?
Yeah, it's that they were not happy about the change. They weren't happy that fired the coach. But I mean, when you're a team that's collectively has a batting average of 240, and you can't, how is not working because. Right. Yeah, I think they're a half a game at 500, or I think they're a game under 500 to change because the team itself, as presently constituted, shouldn't be this bad. It was Chili Davis, Especially that's a huge problem. I mean, I do know Lindor he's most notably he's a slow starter, get going at some points, but no, when he's starting to wake up a little bit, but he's been having problems with runners in scoring position. Jeff McNeil, who was a hitting machine,
saying, "Listen, something's got to give. If not, you're going to be gone," or firing one of them and then keeping the other. But
fan like the manager right now, I don't necessarily think he's a great man or good manager. I think that remains to be seen, but I do think it's a little bit of a stretch to just fire him 20 games into the season of 162. I don't think this is the time to be on board with that. Because look, the team's not hitting. I mean, I don't know how much the hitting coach actually has an effect on the team performing. But if the team's not hitting and you're the coach of the team's hitting, we figured it out. You need to. You're the head that has to roll. You're the guy that has to get kicked to the curb, and we need to figure out something else. We need to get a new. They have Diesel Donnie Stevens that they've concocted to get themselves to be hitting a little bit better.
Would you fire the next hitting coach after they're still not hitting or something? I mean,
well, at that point, at that point we got to. At that point, if this, I mean, I don't know how quickly you'd be waving a white flag, but the players, you got to hope that this is just figure it out,
And the thing is somebody, I work a lot with softball and stuff. And the thing is that it just seems to me like I didn't realize either left or right.
Yeah.
So last night when he did it, and he's still doing the same like that, you're off balance.
Yeah.
You're too much forward, or you're out over the plate, or you're reaching out for something. So that's why he goes to a knee. That same thing. So it's like, is it the hitting instructor or the hitting coach, or is it the player itself that's not making the adjustment in the ball? I mean, you watch, you're looking at where the person is in the box. So where they adjust, you adjust to them, and then you call your pitches from that. So you go inside, outside. If he's, it's a chess game.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a chess game. You're the batter, you're in there. So you move someplace where you think you can suck him into throwing you a pitch that you want, but you're making it look like I can't hit it. And hit it, but it's not just Lindor. It's a lot of them that they're just off. And
but it's really the good part is if you take a look around baseball as a whole, which is it's saying more about the game than it is about just the Mets, has been kind of mediocre. There are a lot of teams hovering around the 500 mark. There's really no teams that are necessarily running away with things. I know the Padres and Dodgers look amazing. The Red Sox have looked a lot better than advertised. The Mariners have been actually playing really well. They gotta, but like you said, they gotta right the ship at some point. The Mets have to figure it out. It's more aggravating because that the team on the field is better than they're playing right now. They're 100% better. Should be better than they're playing right now. And it just seems like that they can't figure it out. It's frustrating. That's why I say I'm a long-suffering Mets fan. But now that leads us to today in sports history that I did get the link, Herb. So if you are watching, I did get it. Today in sports history brought to you by Adventure Family Fun Center, which it says it's got on the little ad that he's got here. It's got indoor go-karts. Obviously, we've mentioned that all the time. And the indoor, like we were talking about, the indoor go-karts is fully open, right?
Yes, indoor, outdoor. The outdoor with the weather and stuff like that. If it's nice out, then they'll open the outdoor. But they've got the bumper cars. Laser tag is running. The arcade, inside arcade and amusements are going and everything else. And now after, our wonderful governor decided to make the changes, I guess May 19th, everything's going to go back to full blast inside and outside. So
isn't that crazy though? So now just before I get fully into the sports history, that's really awesome that it's basically going to be able to be 100% again. You're going to be able to have everything fully open. Isn't it crazy that these regulations, I'm pretty sure, do not affect sports stadiums?
Yeah, like 33%. 33%, I think, is outside, and I think it's 25 to 30. Well, it might be 25%.
I don't know. I feel like that's so crazy to me. Why are you going to let everything else go to 100%, but you won't let anybody into a sports arena at 100%? Especially when to get into said sporting event, you either have to show proof of vaccine or proof of a negative test.
Right. I think it's going to open up more. I think it's going to open up more in next. That's 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. So I think when we get closer to May 19th, it'll be another one. It'll be June 1st. It'll be, hey, we're going to open it up to 50% capacity or 75% capacity for arenas and things like that. But
that's awesome. I can't wait to get to that point. But everybody go check out Adventure Family Fun Center. I can't wait to get up there to check it out because it literally just sounds like an absolutely amazing time. And should be celebrating because they're about to be running at 100% capacity again. So Today in sports history, back in 1929, Lou Gehrig hits three consecutive home runs in the Yankees' 11-9 win over the Detroit Tigers, which is pretty crazy because they did just sweep the Tigers this past weekend. 1965, Willie Mays hits his 512th home run, breaks Mel Ott's 511th NL record home run. 2002, Barry Bonds hits his 400th home run as a San Francisco Giant in a 3-0 win over the Cincinnati Reds. Bond is the first player with 400 home runs for one team and 100 with another team. He hit the other 100 when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is absolutely crazy. I know we all say that I know it's well known, documented that the dude was juicing the whole time, but not the whole time. Mostly probably when he got to San Francisco is the rule of thought. But 2013, Floyd Mayweather Jr. defeats Robert Guerrero to retain the WBC welterweight title. And finally, 2015, the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry is named MVP for the 2014-2015 NBA season. And that is today in sports history. A lot of baseball. I mean, it's going to be a lot of baseball, especially over the summertime because, baseball is this is the baseball season. But
you'll have more as football season starts now with everything.
Yeah, well, football season starts earlier and earlier every year. Once the end of July comes and we're into August, we're already going to be talking about, when camp starts and, the start of football season. So it's only a matter of time. We're going to blink and then we're going to be talking about players showing up to voluntary workouts or not showing up to voluntary workouts. That's what's going to be happening.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. Hopefully everything, goes somewhat back to normal and things like that. I've got the same thing going on with the Green Jackets and semi-pro football.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting our season August 7th is when was supposed to be our first game, but now we're playing July 10th and playing June 26th in a fundraiser game for at Ballston Spa School. It's a young lady that is battling cancers, and then her father played quarterback for a multitude of teams around here, Albany Maulers, the Green Jackets, the Colonials, and things like that. So he's pretty well known in the community, especially in the semi-pro community up here in New York. And his daughter is battling cancer. She had, she's tough. She's fighting it. And the players on the operations board that I created this year for the team, they decided that they wanted to do a fundraiser. So they've got the field and we're putting all that stuff together, and I'll let you guys know. Hopefully, if you can, like to see it come up. If you want to come up and watch the game and be part.
Let me know. Yeah, give me the details. Let me know the details. We hopefully get something set up because that's absolutely amazing that you guys are able to do something like that. And I'm sure got to promote the hell out of that to make sure as many people show up to that game as humanly possible, just so we can get as much money donated and to help that cause. That's absolutely amazing that you guys are able to pull something like that off.
Yeah, I'll send you the link here in the next couple of days. I'll send it something to you.
No, definitely. Yeah, no, absolutely, definitely send me the link. So we are coming close to the end of the show. I hope this was a good. Everybody watching, everybody that tuned in, or you're going to tune in later on for the podcast portion. Let us know how you think we did. Herb, if you are watching, I hope we did you justice, my friend. I hope this was good for you. And Hank, do you have any last words?
It's weird not having Herb on here.
I agree with you. It is definitely weird not having Herb on here. I feel like it just feels like there's something missing when there's not a third box above one of us.
It's the lead. And now we're the lead.
Yeah, exactly. But so I'm just gonna leave you with the same thing I say at the end of every show. Let's go Mets. Peace out, everybody.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.